Welcome back to another episode of By Its Cover. I'm Jake.
I'm Katie.
And By Its Cover is a podcast where we pick out books by their cover.
Read them.
And then we talk about them on the show, although sometimes we consume them. And this week's
Or we
book,
ingest them through our eyes.
we eat the books. With our ears or eyes.
But not through our nose.
I mean, I do huff books. Like, there's something about walking into like an old library or something.
The smell of old books.
You just huff it. You know, you walk in and just start huffing.
I'm sure our listeners can relate.
Yep. The huff and puff of old libraries or old bookstores.
So what's our book today?
Today's book is Flat White Fatality by Emmeline Duncan.
Should I describe the cover?
Yeah, here.
Because you read it. I did not.
There you go.
Flat White Fatality. It's a really cute blue cover. There's a picture of like those little tiny campers. Like, I don't know what they're called.
They're called canned ham.
They're so cute.
Yeah, because it looks like canned ham.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. Okay. So it's red, mostly, with a little bit of orange. And it's got like one of those little pop-out windows where like, you know, a vendor might use one of these. That's the word. Okay. And in the vendor window, there's a pot of flowers and an espresso machine and a little menu. And it looks like maybe some donuts and cinnamon rolls. I'm going to go with cinnamon rolls, as well as a little container of maybe straws and marshmallows. Oh, maybe like they're like stir sticks for your espresso for mixing in stuff. And then on the outside of the camper, there's like a couple menu boards. And on the top of the camper, there's a cup of coffee, particularly a latte with really cute foam art in it. There's a tree growing out of the camper. There's also a bicycle kind of halfway behind the camper and sticking out. And in the basket of the bicycle is an orange tabby cat. And yeah, that's this book. Oh, wait. One other detail I've noticed is that there's leaves falling through the sky, like fall colored leaves. And one of the leaves definitely has the impression of a skull.
What? I didn't see that. Let me see.
Yeah. It's the one in front of the word white.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Maybe it has something to do with the word fatality.
Ooh, ominous.
So that's the cover of this book. Why did you pick this? Where did you pick this?
So I got this book from Seminary Books.
Oh, yeah. Your favorite.
My favorite in Port Orchard, Washington, downtown. I picked it out because it looked cute.
Yeah.
So I'm a Joanne Fluke fan.
Who's that?
Joanne Fluke is the author of things like Cupcake Murder and Pumpkin Cake Murder and Chocolate Cake Murder and Plum Cake Murder. Yeah.
Cake murders.
Well, she also does pie. Pie murder. Apple pie murder.
Oh, my gosh.
She does brownies too.
Oh,
Fudgy
okay.
brownie murders.
Oh, my God. Are
Yeah.
you serious right now? Or
Yeah,
are you just like
no,
making
no.
this shit up? Okay.
This is serious.
Okay.
I'm a fan of these books. I think they're really cute.
Okay.
And so I thought
Cute murder book.
cute murder books. Yep. Well, because the Joanne Fluke books, we're not talking about right now. We're talking about Emmeline Duncan's book,
Which
Flat
looks like
White
a cute
Fatality,
murder book.
which looks like a cozy murder book.
Okay.
And when I picked this book up, I thought it could be two ways. It could either be really good coffee, right? Like Death Wish coffee or whatever, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or it could be a murder mystery.
And what was it?
This book is about coffee cart and roaster owner Sage solving the murder of her boyfriend's employees while describing food in vivid detail.
Multiple employees?
One of them was murdered, but two of them were almost murdered.
Okay.
So I'll walk through the story.
And it's not her boyfriend?
I'll walk through the story.
Hey, listener. Thanks so much for listening to the show, and thank you for listening to our last episode, Last Bus to Wisdom. We got a lot of support from our listeners for that show, which made us feel really good and got us really excited to do more books. So we'll keep reading more books, and you can keep listening to us. Please go ahead and like the show, subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and keep listening. Thanks so much.
Okay, so this book starts out with Sage, introduces Sage as a character, introduces the fact that she's blonde.
Okay.
Because she's roasting a new blend of coffee called Concrete Blonde. And she says, oh, yeah, it's like my hairstyle. which is very interesting. There's a lot of sort of like offshoots from the main story here.
Okay.
But Sage is introduced. We quickly learn that her boyfriend owns a gaming company called Sasquatch Gaming in Portland, Oregon. The entire book takes place in Portland, Oregon. And Emmeline Duncan is from that area.
That was my next question.
Yeah. That's why I think all the details about where people go and everything is fairly accurate because I guess Emmeline lives there. So Sage and her boyfriend Bax are going to Lindsay's birthday party.
Who's Lindsay?
Lindsay is another employee.
Okay.
And they all have to dress up as ducks and go on a scavenger hunt. And it's an interesting way to spend a birthday, but whoever wins also gets bragging rights. So they walk around Portland in duck costumes. Yep. Where they're talking to local restaurant owners and businesses and stuff, and they're trying to get the next clue.
Uh-huh.
Then we sort of learn about Robbie. Robbie is an Australian woman who is just cruel, super mean. They're working in groups of like 3 or 4.
And she's an employee.
And she's an employee.
Okay.
Yeah. Assume everyone's an employee of
From here on out.
From here on out.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's just super mean to her co-ducks. She's like, you guys are so dumb. You know, why don't you be smarter, as smart as me, right? You can't figure out any of the clues. That's why we're behind. Blah, 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 blah. Real team player.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, progressing through, they go from spot to spot to spot, and then Robbie suddenly goes missing.
Uh-oh.
Then they find Robbie later, and she's dead.
Mean character die off.
Kill off. She was actually murdered in Sage's roastery.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. So there was blood, and she's dead. And Sage finds Robbie and then calls Detective William. But this is not the first time. So just like Joanne Fluke books, where the baker and the bakery owner is also a detective on the side, just like that. Sage is a coffee roaster and cart owner who also does modeling for Sasquatch Game Studios and also solves murders.
Entrepreneur.
I mean, she's great.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, a perfect depiction of somebody with a multitude of interests making it in the world.
That's right. And she's pretty successful at it. So I will say from that point, from the point that Robbie was murdered until the last 3 chapters, most of the book is about food.
So it's just like an intermission.
It sort of felt that way.
Okay.
And it wasn't bad. Like I was very hungry when I would pick up this book and read it because Emmeline does a really good job of describing the food that Sage is eating or the people around her are eating. And she's always talking about getting an onion bagel with salmon on it or going to the Tab and getting a fried chicken sandwich and just so much food. You know that
saying of like, don't go to the grocery store hungry?
Don't read this book if you're hungry. 100%. Which I was about halfway through this book, and then I looked at the back, and guess what?
What?
There's recipes.
Oh my God.
Yep. And I honestly, I need to make one. I need to make one of these recipes, and I'll tell you why. Sorry, listeners, we're going on a tangent. When I was in college, I went to the library to get a book so that I could read it because I like to read. Mm-hmm. They recommended Joanne Fluke to me, which is the first time that I've ever read a Joanne Fluke book.
Yeah.
And they said, if you read this book, you have to bake something from the book and bring it in. So I read the book. I baked something like marshmallow s'more brownies, and I brought it in. And that was the tradition that all the librarians had.
Oh my gosh.
And so there was always sweets around because they were always reading these books. Well, I should have baked something for us today.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
From this book.
Yeah.
Cinnamon maple syrup, spiced orange cold brew. Oh, these are all drinks. Spiced orange coffee soda. But there was a brownie recipe in the front too. Oh yeah, espresso brownies. So they're all sort of caffeinated inspired, which makes sense because Sage is a coffee cart owner. So after like 20 chapters of food being described to me, which was cool, they started getting into the mystery.
Okay.
And there seems, it's fun because the whodunit is introduced one at a time.
Okay.
So whodunit number 1 was the Eastern European woman that hated Robbie because Robbie was blackmailing her.
That would be a reason to hate somebody.
Right? Whodunit number 2, Eileen, the office mom / HR person, I guess.
It was her.
And yeah, you're right. Nailed it. Yes. Whodunit 3 and 4, though, was Wyatt and Nicholas, who are in her team.
Okay.
Yeah. Really, I mean, you solved the mystery right away.
It's the name.
Eileen.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was really nice throughout most of the book, but
Oh, that's definitely why.
yeah. You know, I mean, office mom, right?
Yeah.
Like, who'd have thunk that the office mom would murder one of her
Or
kids?
the HR. I mean, that's not how you handle workplace disputes.
I mean, it's how they handled it in the 10s, right?
1910s?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit further back.
Coal miner murders.
1810s. Oh, no.
Old Jeb's not mining coal the way he used to. Let's off him or something, right? So you find out really that Robbie is kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
She is not actually Australian. She's from Eastern Oregon. And you find that out because her sister comes to visit, and her sister is from Eastern Oregon and says that Robbie went to college in Australia, and she came back with the accent and saying that she wanted to immigrate to Australia. And so she was trying to fit the part, I guess, of an Australian. Nobody at the office knew that she was an Australian. She also was actively trying to screw everyone in the office over.
Oh, I thought you were just going to end it at screw everyone in the office.
No. So she was trying to break up Sage and Bax.
Okay.
She was trying to blackmail Eileen. She was trying to blackmail Kat, who's the Eastern European woman.
Okay.
She was actively bullying Lindsay because she had an eating disorder. Like,
What drives this woman to do these things?
I don't know.
That's not what this book is about.
This book is about I guess it's about why she did, which she shouldn't have done what she did. So lesson to our listeners, don't bully, otherwise you'll end up dead.
That's a funny takeaway from this book. Also, drink coffee recipes on the end of the book.
Yeah, so drink coffee and don't bully. But it's interesting. Wyatt and Nicholas are both sort of targeted by some murderer during the discovery phase of whodunit.
Not Eileen.
Not Eileen.
Oh, a different murderer. What are the chances?
No, sorry. It was, let me describe it. Nicholas had his brake lines cut.
Katie.
Yeah. Nicholas had his brake line cut.
Okay.
And he almost got hit by a SUV.
Okay.
Wyatt's allergic to dairy, and someone put milk in his coconut water.
Okay.
And he went into like anaphylactic shock. So both of these people are almost murdered. And so you don't know at this point that it's Eileen. Eileen was like the last chapter of the book. And you find out that it was Eileen that actually cut the brake line and tried to murder Wyatt, not because she actually wanted to murder them, but because she wanted the other one to think that they were murdering each other. Because Nicholas, and the way that Robbie died, as you find out, is Nicholas and Wyatt played a prank on her and sort of went, boo, spook. And Robbie fell and hit her head.
Oh, no.
And she didn't die, but she was dazed and was really angry at Nicholas and Wyatt. And Robbie, has all this shit on them.
Yeah.
Because she's the office blackmailer. And they run away from where Robbie hit her head.
Oh.
Eileen comes in and snuffs her.
Why at that point?
Because
what is her motive?
Robbie saw Eileen take money out of someone else's purse and had photos and was going to tell the whole office about it.
Oh my goodness.
And Eileen was like, I put it back. I just wanted some bus money because I am a single mother. But I don't know why that would drive her to murder.
Right. Over petty cash.
Over petty cash. I mean, yes, it's a bad thing. It looks bad.
Yeah.
She didn't like where she worked. She didn't like gamers, right? She just seems jaded.
Yeah.
Right. I guess. But she was trying to make Wyatt and Nicholas feel like they were going to kill each other.
Okay.
Like they knew that the other one knew too much. And so they were trying to take each other out.
I see.
Because they didn't know that Robbie didn't actually die from the accident where they spooked her and she fell.
Right.
Right.
Why wouldn't they just call 911?
I don't.
Or take the woman to the hospital?
These are great questions that Sage asks in the end of the book.
Yes.
Sage also asks, Eileen, why did you murder Robbie over some stupid money that you took out of someone's purse for bus fare? Like, everyone would understand. You're a single mom. Like, you need money for the bus. It's not right what you did. You should have asked. But also, murdering is way worse. And now your kids have no mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you like this book?
I did, actually. I liked this book. I had a hard time getting through the center of it because I wanted to eat every time that I was reading the book. But I thought the end was really cool. I liked the whodunit, no, double cross, triple cross. You know, that was fun.
It sounds like a fun book.
It is a fun book. And there was some things about the book that were also interesting. So while Sage is solving murders and being a model, like what is it called where you put tennis balls on your suit and you...
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's one of those.
Okay.
For the game that Bax is making.
Okay.
And that's how they sort of ended up dating, I guess.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. He was like, you're hot. You should be in our game. And she's like, we should date.
She's like, I like your tennis balls.
So, nice tennis balls. But as she's doing all of this, she has someone that she previously worked with, Mark. And Mark, she left roasting at Mark's coffee roaster because he is a total prick and asshole. And so he's running a social media campaign against her coffee shop because someone died there, right? And she's defending it by making witty quips and, you know, trying to sway the internet that their coffee is so good that you're going to die from it, which I guess worked. And there was also... She's bidding for a contract against Mark for an Irish canned alcoholic drink that will have alcohol and coffee in it, because we all know
that's
mixing
a good mix.
Uppers and downers is a good way to have fun.
All of us know this.
What was that? Four Locos, right?
Oh my God.
Four Locos had a lawsuit because they mixed uppers and downers.
They sure did.
Yeah.
There's a couple different companies like that. I used to work at a convenience store and some kids would come in and I say kids. I mean, to me, anybody under 25 is a kid.
I'm not a kid. I'm 12.
But this kid, he had a heart attack.
Really?
Yeah. He drank too many of those. He had a heart attack.
I believe it.
He survived.
Oh, okay.
But he wasn't allowed to drink those anymore.
So Ground Rules, which is Sage's coffee shop, is likely going to get sued eventually for mixing uppers and downers.
Because that's how fictions work.
That's how fictions work.
You got to bring in enough of the real world to make it believable.
I know.
It sounds like a cute book.
It is a cute book. Sage is really nice to her employees. And she makes sure that she has healthcare for them, can pay them as much as she can afford. Bax's Sasquatch Studios is the same way.
Yeah.
Pays them as much as he can afford. There's lots of benefits. There's no trouble in their relationship. At the very end of the book.
Oh, that's positive for you.
Yes. Like the worst part of Cunning Folk, the most horrifying part of Cunning Folks was the fact that the husband and wife didn't talk to each other. And that's why the little girl got a nail in the eye. Right. So anyway, a spoiler if you hadn't watched that episode or listened to that episode. One. Yeah. So anyway, they ended up getting married at the end of the book, Bax and Sage.
Cool. Yeah. So anyway, who would you recommend to read this book?
Okay, so this book, I would recommend anyone that likes Joanne Fluke.
Okay.
Anyone that likes
Janet Ivanovich?
I don't know who that is.
Also a silly, like, crime series.
Oh, like Cody.
One for the money.
Cozy murder mysteries.
Yeah, I think I would describe it as cozy.
Yeah, any cozy murder mystery people that like this book.
Okay.
Will like this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there another book in that? Is that a series or just a standalone?
This is a series. So I apparently read book 2.
Oops.
Because she already had a relationship with Detective William.
Okay.
And she already had a relationship with Mark. And I guess the first book was Fresh Brewed Murder.
Sounds right.
The second one was Double Shot Death.
Those sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's cute. It's super cute.
What's our next book?
Our next book is The Pale House Devil by Richard Cadry.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.